Hello there. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about your verbs as opposed to your nouns. I'm Harriet Blymiller and I have been working for Enago for about 8 years and enjoying it very much. And I would like to help you any way I can in improving your writing style in English. And in fact, I think this little lesson here, this little video might actually improve your writing style beyond what English native speakers do. So there you go, it's a special hint. In another video, I talked about the steps in the writing process. And one of them near the end is revising your draft to try to make it as perfect as you can get it. Your use of active verbs can set your writing apart from a lot of other people's writing, and I think that could be a big advantage to you in publication. For one thing, using active verbs puts the main action part of the sentence where it belongs, in the verb. It increases the pace of your writing, so it carries your readers along really well, and it also offers more clarity and certainly more conciseness. Now, this is a little different. English is a little different from other languages because many of them don't use as many nouns as English does. They tend to rely on their verbs more, but we tend to nominalize everything. If it's an action, we can certainly make it into a thing or an object, a noun. But I think we need to not do that. English sentences basically have two parts: an actor, or that is you're naming something, and then you have an action, which tells what that actor is doing. Okay? So actor doing something is how English sentences, the basic English sentence goes. I have said that it gives your writing better pace, carries the reader along fairly quickly, gives it greater conciseness and greater clarity. Now, I have 4 ways of doing that. And if you don't feel like taking notes while I'm talking, I will be giving this handout that I have here to Enago to share with you. And there are basically 4 ways to make your verbs better. And the first one is to drop nominalization endings. Okay, what does that mean? That means A-T-I-O-N, T-I-O-N, E-N-C-E, A-N-C-E, all of those suffixes that make verbs into nouns, drop those and use the verb. Don't say defection, say defect. Don't say correction, say correct, and use that as your verb. The other thing we do in English an awful lot is to use 3-word verbs. We never bathe, we always take a bath. We never shower, we always take a shower. We never decide, we always make a decision. But you see how that lengthens what you're saying and takes the action and puts it into a noun where it doesn't really belong? So if you can get rid of those nominalizations and use the verb instead, your writing will get that pace, clarity, and conciseness that you need. Now, I'm giving you 4 ways to improve, but they kind of overlap. The third one is to use a word as a verb and not as a noun. Don't say, he gave me some help. Say, he helped me. Don't say, he made an appeal to the governor. Say, he appealed to the governor. And so on and so forth. And there are many, many of those words in English. Another thing to avoid is starting with what we call a false subject. There is and there are. That should be saved for just when you're saying, there's a Tyrannosaurus Rex out in the road, because that's remarkable that there is one. Otherwise, you say, let's see, I have I have oh, here it is. I'm sorry. You might say there are 12 participants in this study. Well, we're using there are, a form of the verb to be, which doesn't have much action, when you could actually say, this study's 12 participants accomplished the task in record time. And then you have much more information in your sentence, and it's a much better sentence, and it moves along much more quickly. So, as I've said, I'm going to give these sheets to Enago to make them available to you, and I hope you can use them to improve your writing. But one last thing, don't try to use them when you're drafting your rough draft. Wait until you're doing your revising and then start putting in your better verbs. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in another video.